Hello, everyone. My name is Zach, and welcome back to the March 2012 YouTube channel. So today we're going to take a look at Watts. Watts are a control deck that really got their true push with the release of Watt Cobra in Photon Shockwave at the beginning of the March 2012 format. So this is the main monster of the deck, so we'll talk about that momentarily. This deck has one known top in the format, where it got top 32 at the European WCQ, which is very impressive. My list is very different than that list, so if you do see that list, our lists are different, but let's get into the card by card. So beginning with the All-Star, we have the 3 copies of Watt Cobra. Watt Cobra is a light thunder monster that's level 4. It can attack your opponent directly, and when it inflicts battle damage, you can search any Watt monster from your deck. So this really brought the archetype together because it just gave you a Rhoda in the deck, and it's just one of those cards. It's really fun because it gets around bottomless, so your opponent is going to have to like torrential or warning this card, which is just fantastic. So he is the main monster. And then we have 1 copy of Watt Pheasant. Watt Pheasant can also attack directly. It is a light thunder monster. It's level 4. And then when this card inflicts battle damage, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field and then remove it from play until the end of the turn. Really good against Xyz monsters because they will lose their material. And then 1 copy of one of the best cards in the archetype, the 1 copy of Watt Giraffe. Like the other 3, this guy can attack your opponent directly. So when he inflicts battle damage, your opponent cannot activate monster effects, spell, or traps until the end of the turn. It's very good. It's a very good control card. You might be asking, why are you only playing 1? Well, it's very easily accessible. When I first started testing the deck, I was playing more copies. And then just after more and more testing, I realized you really only need 1. And I never missed the more copies, because drawing it's kind of unfortunate. I just like being able to search it off Cobra or special summoning it off one of the recruiters. So yeah, these are your main guys, but we still have many more monsters to talk about. Next we have 3 copies of Watt Dragonfly. Watt Dragonfly is a light level 2 thunder monster. They're all going to be thunder monsters, which is really nice. So when this guy is destroyed by battle, or by card effect, my bad, you can special summon any Watt monster from your deck, which is really good. This lets you float into Watt Cobra. Or if it's late game, it lets you float into like a recycled Watt Giraffe. But being able to float into Watt Cobra is really nice. Or we can float into a card we'll talk about momentarily called Watt Hopper. This is arguably one of the best recruiters in the game, in my opinion. Pyramid Turtle is still, in my opinion, the best, but Watt Dragonfly is really good. Next, we have the 3 copies of Watt Hopper. Your opponent cannot select another face-up Watt monster as an attack target or target them with card effects. So, if you can get the Watt Hopper lock going, it is incredibly hard for your opponent to deal with. So, kind of like the dupe lock from like frog decks that you may be familiar with. Just getting 2 of these on the field is kind of game-ending at times, if your opponent does not have a response for it, and it really pushes for a win con. So next we play some Watt monsters that maybe you don't know. One of them you will know, and then the other 2 maybe not. So we're going to play 2 copies of Watt Fox. Watt Fox is here literally to be a level 2 tuner, but his effect is pretty good. If this card is destroyed by an opponent's card, by battle or card effect, your opponent cannot special summon monsters or activate spell, trap, or monster effects for the rest of the turn. So it's like not a bad monster just to set and let your opponent smack into. So pretty solid. Next we have the 1 Watt Barracks. It's just a level 3 tuner, and if he inflicts battle damage, you can rip a card out of your opponent's hand, which is kind of cool, but I don't like to randomly shotgun this effect because Dark Worlds exist. And then that's it for the tuners, the synchros. So like your extra deck is not a like win con in this deck. Like I just built it to where I can access it. And then last but not least, we have Wattmole. Wattmole is really cool. I believe he's like an anime reference. Someone can correct me in the comments. I remember hearing that a lot when I was talking about this deck with friends. It can attack twice, and if it attacks a face-down monster, you can just destroy it without flipping or applying damage calc. So that's why this card sees play. So that is it for the Watt monsters. We play a very good amount of them. Next, we have 4 more monsters in this main deck, including 3 copies of Shining Angel. It's just an additional recruiter. I like the ability just to have many of them. Again, this one gets under bottomless, so your opponent is going to have to warning or torrential this, which I mean you won't get the float, but it still beats opponent's back row. And then last but not least, in a deck with all lights, can't be a deck with all lights without honest. So for the spells, we're playing a control deck, but we'll begin with a consistency card with 3 copies of Pot of Duality. It's just one of the best consistency cards in this format. Just dig for your pieces. Next we have our Floodgate spell in 3 messenger apiece. This locks out all monsters with 1500 or more attack, and then during each of your standby phases, you pay a whopping 100 life points for maintenance. Very good card. It's just good against everything, but like Insectors. And Insectors is a rough matchup. So just know that. This deck does really have a favorable matchup with like Rabbit and Chaos Dragons, though. Which in theory is surprising, but after playing it enough, it is surprisingly favorable. And then we just have staples. We have Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Pot Avarice, and then this isn't a staple necessarily, but I'm just considering it one. Then 1 Recycling Batteries. It just lets you add 2 Thunder monsters with 1500 or less attack from your grave to your hand. It just lets you grab any 2 Watts you'd like. I just like to have the recycle ability to get the other Watts at any point that I would like. And now we get on to the traps. So this is a card that I really like. Some people don't. We have 3 copies of Watt Cancel. Another card that came out in Photon Shockwave. When your opponent would normally special summon a monster, you can pitch a Watt monster, negate the special summon, and destroy the card. And that's our only 3 of spell. Or trap, sorry. 2 copies of Torrential Tribute. The Solemn Brigade, and then a controversial card, yes, but a very applicable card after like turn 2. We have 2 Rivalry of Warlords. Each player can only control 1 type of monster, so you might be like, but you're playing like Shining Angel, and I'm like, yes, but if you're gonna flip Rivalry, that's when you just turn the Shining Angels off. It's only 3 cards. So it really doesn't affect the deck at all. It's never hurt me in the past either. Of course, you know, there's always those, but what if, yeah, I gotcha. But this card is very good. Again, against Insectors, it's not good, but like against like Wind-Ups, it's pretty damn good. Against Rabbit, it's good. Against Chaos Dragons, it's alright. It just is pretty good against a lot of random decks as well. But that's it for the main deck here. It's a pretty straightforward deck to play. But let's talk about the extra deck. You don't really touch it very much, but I will just show you the extra deck that I have been messing with a little bit. So the card that I've made the most in this extra deck is 2 copies of Watt Chimera. I've only really made 1 in a game. So Watt Chimera is a level 6 light thunder synchro that needs a Watt tuner and a non-tuner thunder. This guy can attack directly. When it inflicts battle damage, you just take a random card and put it on your opponent, top of your opponent's deck. It just rigs the top decks in your favor. It just lets the stall and control aspect get out of control at times. It does not come up often, but when it does, it's really good. I also want to mention that other Watt synchro monster, Watt Hydra. I do not play it because, one, I think it's bad. Well, it's not bad, but it's not very good. It's a level 7 that needs a Watt tuner and a non-tuner thunder. Attack directly and inflicts battle damage. It's a gold Sark. So, like, it's not bad, but it's not great either, so I'm just opting not to play it. For other 6s, I have a Brio and Iron Chain Dragon. This order got messed up, sorry. I played 1 level 4 in Armory Arm, level 5 in Cataster, and then 2 7s in Black Rose and Ancient Sacred Wyvern. And then for Exceeds, I play all rank 4s, just because they occasionally come up. The little Utopia engine of Utopia and Utopia Ray. We play Photon Papal Operative or Papal Imperative, Steel Swarm Roach, Maystroke, Gemini Pearl, and Evagishki Marrowgeist. Like, all of these are fine. And if you don't want to play insert rank 4 here, play whatever one you'd like. I don't think anyone will be upset by that logic, because there are a lot of rank 4s that are pretty alright in this format. So yeah, that is it for Watts. I hope you guys did like this video. Again, this is another deck that I wouldn't recommend to everybody. It does take a lot of patience to play this, because it is a heavy control deck, and you are not going to win games like very fast. So again, this is a deck that does require some patience to get the hang of. So just do know that going into it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.